Hi everyone, it's Chris here. This short video will take you through writing definitions. Now that's an important part of technical writing and it's something that you'll need to do in your first assessment, writing instructions. You'll need to define your task. So here we go. Okay, so technical definitions are a common part of writing at university and in the technical professions, and they allow you to do a couple of things. Firstly, at university they'll allow you to demonstrate to your markers your understanding of key terms, and you can use them in all kinds of assignments, not just reports or the kinds of technical assignments that you would expect, but also in essays as well. And they also allow you to clarify for your audience the meaning of any key terms in your document. So you might use a particular term in a particular way, and this helps to clarify that meaning. So technical definitions tend to consist of three main parts. You have the term, which is a word or a phrase that is to be defined, the class to which it belongs, and the characteristics that differentiate it from others in its class. Now, I'll explain what that means. Now, if you're into mathematics, you might like formulas, and here's a formula that works for this. So you have definition equals term plus class plus differentiating characteristics. Now let's take a look at what that means. So here's an example. Water, and that's the term, is a liquid, that's the class that it belongs to, made up of molecules of hydrogen and oxygen in the ratio of 2:1, and they're the differentiating characteristics. Let's look at another one. So comic books. Comic books, that's the term we want to define, are sequential and narrative publications. That's the class. So we could talk about books or stories or things like that, but that doesn't quite narrow it down enough. So we've got sequential and narrative publications, consisting of illustrations, captions, dialogue balloons, and often a focus on superpowered heroes. And they're the differentiating characteristics. Finally, last one, astronomy. So there's the term to be defined, is a branch of scientific study, that's the class, primarily concerned with celestial objects inside and outside of the Earth's atmosphere. So there we have the differentiating characteristics. So that basic formula, term plus class plus differentiating characteristics. So think about how you would classify these things. Now, there are PowerPoint slides in the topic on Moodle, so you can have a look at those and think about this a little more. Think about how you would classify German Shepherd, stethoscope, teaching, aerodynamics, and a manager. So determining the classification, sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge. So here we have an example from a technical field. So the 33 kilo ohm 1 watt carbon resistor, and it's a fairly common item in the technical fields. So we've got, we could say that it's a device that impedes the flow of electric current, but device is fairly vague, so we might need something a bit more specific than that. 33 kilo ohm 1 watt carbon resistor is a resistor that impedes the flow of electric current. Well, that's just repetitive. It doesn't really help clarify the definition. We could say that it's a circuit component that impedes the flow of electric current. And that's okay for a specific audience, but would everyone know what a circuit component is? Perhaps not. But if we said something like this, a 33 kilo ohm 1 watt carbon resistor is an electrical device that impedes the flow of electric current. And that might be okay for a general audience. Maybe not for a specific one, but okay for a general one. So, what is the audience level of these definitions? A resistor is a small electric part that reduces the amount of electricity flowing through a circuit. Now, what audience level do you think that would be? Would that be a technical audience or a general audience? How about this one? A resistor is a circuit component that converts electrical energy to thermal energy and, in the process, determines the current produced by a given difference of potential. Now, you can quite clearly see the difference there. So the second one is obviously the one that's written for a technical audience, and the first one for a general audience. Let's have a look at one more. So resonance is a systematic condition in which small amplitudes of periodic agent produce large amplitudes of oscillation or vibration. Okay, anyone understand what that means? So that's obviously written for a technical audience. Whereas this one, resonance is a natural means of amplification that makes a musician's horn sound louder. Okay, so that one's more accessible to a general audience. So that's what we mean by audience and purpose. So it depends on who you're writing for and what you're writing. Now here's a problem that comes up when we're defining things. So definition of the term stall. So a stall is a flight condition in which the lift produced becomes less than the weight of the airplane and the airplane stops flying. So you might have seen planes at air shows or on TV. They climb and suddenly they stall, they stop flying. So there we have the term plus class plus differentiating characteristics. So all of that's fine. But a stall can also be other things. So a stall is an operating condition in which a sudden and unexpected loss of power occurs. So that might be suitable for a car. So very different. So how do we differentiate between these? Well, one thing that we can do is add a qualifier to the beginning. So for example, in flying, a stall is a flight condition in which the lift produced becomes less than the weight of the airplane and the airplane stops flying. Okay, good. In driving, a stall is an operating condition in which a sudden and unexpected loss of power occurs. Good. But a stall can also be something that comes from farming. So we say in farming, a stall is a compartment that is designed to shelter a single animal in a stable or cowshed. Okay, now it's your turn. So write a definition for a general audience of an object or person, something that others might not know a lot about. And I've got some pictures there to give you a few ideas, but pick something that you know something about and write a definition for it, for a general audience. Once you've done that, then I want you to rewrite that definition for a technical audience. So assume that others would know what that is and give a technical definition. And see if you can come up with the difference between the two. Okay, so once you've done that, technical definitions, it's important to always consider your audience when writing your definitions. Sometimes you may have no choice but to use technical terms. There's just no other way to describe it. And if so, what should you do? Well, Finkelstein has 7 different ways to extend your definition. And they are by providing a further definition, by using some kind of comparison and contrast, further classification, talking about cause and effect, describing the process, giving examples, so through exemplification, or talking about the etymology, and that basically means the history of the words, where do the words come from. Now, I've got further information on these ways to extend definitions in the slides on Moodle, so please go there and you'll see some examples of what each of these mean. Okay, so once you've had a look at those, your turn then is to extend the definition that you wrote earlier by using one of these methods. You can use more than one, but just one is fine. Okay, so that's it for this video. Now don't forget that in Assessment 1 in your instructions you'll need to define your task, and that will probably be the first sentence in your paragraph. So defining whatever it is, and then you go on to talk about why people do it, and where they do it, and where it needs to be done, and any warnings and so on. So that constitutes the first paragraph for your first assessment. Okay, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and we look forward to seeing you online soon. Bye for now.